UPI reports Twitter encouraged all of its users to change their passwords on Thursday after discovering a bug that caused passwords to be stored without proper encryption. The social media platform discovered a bug that caused user passwords to be stored in an internal log without going through a process known as hashing, in which password characters are replaced with a random set of numbers and letters. Twitter's chief technology officer wrote in a blog post, "Due to a bug, passwords were written to an internal log before completing the hashing process. We found this error ourselves, removed the passwords, and are implementing plans to prevent this bug from happening again." The CTO said the bug had been fixed, and an investigation showed there was no indication of breach or misuse by anyone. He still encouraged users to change their passwords out of an abundance of caution, and Twitter pushed a pop-up window to users explaining the bug and including a link to the settings page. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports the Republican-controlled Oklahoma legislature approved an adoption measure on Thursday that critics say discriminates against same-sex couples, non-Christians, and single parents. The bill would allow faith-based adoption agencies, including those that receive public funding, to turn away would-be parents on the basis of their marital status or religion and religious beliefs. Supporters of the bill said the legislation would open the door for more child placement partnerships. The State House of Representatives approved the bill by a vote of 56 to 21 without discussion or debate, despite vocal objections by the Democratic caucus. Earlier in the day, the Senate passed the bill by a vote of 33 to 7. Opponents of the bill could mount a legal challenge. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, mothers across the nation invented a new drug to worry about, confirming that the completely fictitious new substance was appearing in schoolyards across the nation and is easily created from simple household products like sugar, window cleaner, and petroleum jelly. Calling the totally made-up narcotic scramp, mothers in desperate need of something to fret over deluded themselves into constantly agonizing over the widespread drug epidemic that exists solely in their minds.
My son sits in his room for hours and hours. It must be scramp. He's a scramp head. I bet they'll figure out how to scramp with this too.
In other news, a man confidently strides through a beaded curtain without parting it. A father takes a picture of his daughter every day from birth until he abandons his family. And the same homeless man is always begging for change on the same United flight. Stalled contract negotiations have prevented me from reviewing any more news until I receive a co-producer credit. But for more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
It is Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. It's one of those.
You don't even know what day it is.
Yeah, it's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
I do now. It's Sunday. I'm sure of it. It's
because you're in that seat.
That's right. It's between 7 and 10 Eastern Time on a Sunday, and that means you can call in at actually any day of the week between 7 and 10 Eastern Time. You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. We're going to bring in our things, and I got a little list here, and because I'm in the first seat, I've decided what we're going to talk about. Apparently, there's a crab crisis going on in Maryland.
All right, and depending on the type of crabs, it might be in more than just Maryland.
It could be, but you do know that Maryland is known for crabs.
Yes.
And Virginia for lovers.
Oh,
maybe they
fairly certain they've also got crabs in Virginia.
Yeah. So apparently, what's going on is that people eat crabs in Maryland, and to eat crabs, you must pick the meat out of crabs.
Yes.
They're specifically known for crab cakes in Maryland, and in order to have crab cakes, you must have crab meat, and in order to have crab meat, you must pick it out of the carapaces of dead crabs.
Yes.
And they currently have a lot of job openings right now in Maryland at the remaining crab businesses because of, well, frankly, there aren't enough immigrants that are been allowed in by Trump's new program.
Now, is Maryland crab fishing as dangerous as Alaskan crab fishing?
No.
Okay.
These are blue crabs, and they don't have to go out as deep in the water or anything like that. But it's a very deadly job doing Alaskan fishing.
Yes.
So, not to say that other fishing jobs, any deep sea fishing is dangerous work. No one's out there to save you. But this is much closer to shore, and this is the time of year that they're.
And I'm guessing also not in the middle of winter.
What do you mean?
So the Alaskan crab fishing, that's generally in the middle of winter. So if you fall overboard, then the water is going to be freezing and you die of hypothermia, not from drowning.
Yeah, most of the fishing in America is done in Alaska and off the coast of New England. The people who leave off the coast of New England go north because that's where the big desirable fish are. So when you fall out of the water and fall off the boat into the water, whether it's in the North Atlantic or the North Pacific, you're going to die. Okay? It doesn't matter where it is, and we're not talking about Alaska here. We're talking about Maryland.
I'm just pointing out that the Maryland crab fishing, not as dangerous as Alaskan crab fishing, and the Alaskan crab fishing seems to just have, people lining up to do it.
Sure. So Alaskan crab fishing, the reason people line up to do it is highly lucrative. Compensation is there. But this isn't about fishing for crabs. This is about cleaning the fished crabs.
Ah, okay. So this is not the actual fishing jobs that aren't being filled.
Right. So largely this is the job of picking the meat out of the dead crab's body.
Okay, that was not clear at the beginning.
So I'll just read the article here. That'll get it clear from the Baltimore Sun at baltimoresun.com. Hooper's Island lost the lottery. There's really no better way to explain the economic devastation that is gradually unfolding in this tiny Dorchester County. If that's mispronounced in some other way, then pardon me.
Durster.
Is that seriously?
No,
Durster,
I
Cheshire.
I'm sorry, I'm making it up.
Okay, thank you. The most remote on the eastern shore, crabs are a main source of livelihood here, and so far this year, 4 crab processing plants. 4 crab processing plants have gone belly up, victims of the Trump administration's decision to tighten restrictions on the guest worker visa known as H-2B. Each year, as a pattern as reliable as the return of the blue crabs from the main stem to the rivers and creeks of Chesapeake Bay, hundreds of guest workers, mostly women, from Mexico have traveled to the shores of Chesapeake Bay to pick crabs at one of 19 or so processing plants. By pick crabs, they mean picking the meat out of crabs, like legs and bodies and things like that. I haven't done this, so I don't know the specifics. I can process a hog for you. I can do a chicken, but I haven't done crabs. All right. Going on here, mostly the Eastern Shore in places like Cambridge, Rock Hall, Crisfield, Fishing Creek. They come for half a year as the crab season flourishes and they return to their homes. It is a proven economic model. The plants get reliable, reasonably priced labor. The workers get to support their families. Local watermen get a market for their summer catch. Villages prosper. And I would add to this statement, people get to eat some of the best crab cakes in the world because it's not like the crab cakes are super cheap, but they have to compete with another meal.
Right.
If you go to, some place to have a dinner and you're looking at all the other choices there and all the other menu prices are exactly as you'd expect them to be. So a steak is between $18 and $25. Chickens between $10 and $15. And then crab cakes are $57, you're not going to eat crab cakes. Well, because people say that Americans will do this work.
People say a lot of things.
People do, okay, first off, the reason that we have bachelors, masters, and PhDs in economics is because people don't understand it, on the ground. There's a reason we have experts in this field. And that frankly suggests that the people who are, don't have these degrees, not the experts. I've spent enough time, digging into this. I'm going to go ahead and say, if you believe that Americans will do all jobs, well, you either believe that those jobs can afford to pay those Americans a significantly higher wage than the immigrant, or you simply don't understand economics.
Americans are addicted to welfare. and canning and meat processing. It's basically a trade-off. I can work my ass off and get this amount of money,
right,
or I can do nothing and get $10 a week less, or $100 a week less, or $50 a week more, whatever. Still, bare minimum. I can work for it, or I can not work for it. They're going to tend to, especially when you grow up in a welfare neighborhood, that's just going to be the life you're always going to choose. And you need immigrants to come and do the work that Americans refuse to do.
And not only that, but a lot of Americans also basically they want it all, if you will. They want high-paying jobs,
sure,
but they want cheap stuff.
Yep.
You can't have both of those.
Well, you can if you have, a more open borders policy. If people are allowed to sort of come in and work hard to create a better life for themselves and their families, then you will get, what that is that's allowing labor to cross borders. Currently, we allow products to cross borders, right? Like, so you can buy your car's not made in America, your toaster's not made in America. Very few things that you use throughout your computer certainly isn't. The radio you're listening to me on is highly unlikely it's made in America. God bless the Sea Crane Company. But very few of these products are made in America. So you don't have a problem. You may like American-made stuff, but you use stuff that isn't. So you will use stuff that is not made in America.
Because the stuff made in America is more expensive because higher wages.
Sure.
So
not always, but yeah.
Americans want high wages and cheap stuff.
Right.
And if everybody's getting high wages, you can't have cheap stuff.
And the problem with and look, I got problems with letting immigrants in the country too. There's a few problems with it. One, you're basically opening yourself to all kinds of costs from a welfare standpoint. I say, morally, we are not obligated to pay for people from this country's, living. It's your job to pay for you and your family. That's the immigrant's job, too. So, from a libertarian standpoint, that's slid off the table.
Yep. But from a bureaucratic standpoint, the way to address that would be to ban immigration from Europe. That's where your socialism and welfare love is going to come from, not from the laborers who are trying to escape a country that was ruined by governors.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if they're looking at it as philosophically. I would think as a poor person, I'm going to take any handout that's available. I would just say no handouts. The easy way to do this is to create a new class of immigrant. Let's call it the blue card. Anybody who comes into the country who signs up. Look, you're welcome to come in. You'll get no government-supported schooling. You'll get no government-supported medicine. You'll get no government-supported welfare. So that's my proposal. 855.
Mike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about anything that's on your mind. The airwaves are yours. Please give us a call and discuss whatever's on your mind. But we have been talking about the situation that's going on in Maryland where crab picking, and this means pulling the crab meat out of crabs, not picking them out of a river or something. Crab picking companies are going belly up. 4 have already gone belly up in one county, and it's all because of Trump's design of the H-2B visa. Which, it bears pointing out that from a historical standpoint, people have been crossing the border from Mexico, northern Mexico, into the United States for far longer than any of us have been alive. It was the wetback laws in the 60s that basically, made this more difficult and criminalized the behavior. I think that it is true that you would find that many of these people would say, if I have to pick one place or the other, I'd rather live in the United States. But if they're given the ability to move back and forth, they want that, they want to go home. Right. They want that cheap land that they have down there, and that's what they're used to. People like to go home. No matter what, home is always home. So and so in Maryland, you were saying that people are choosing to eat other things besides blue crab, choosing new things entirely. They're going to have to do that, but and that's why the companies are shutting down, because the trade will only support. At this point, they don't have crab meat to sell
because they don't have people to do the jobs.
I see. Yeah, there's just not crab pickers, which is what this line of work is called. Picking the meat out of crab legs and stuff. They don't have crab pickers, so they don't have crab meat. If they don't have crab meat to sell, their crab meat selling place, they're out of business. Yeah. I see your point. Here's another point that I'd like to make is I have the best pillow I've ever used. It's called My Pillow. That's the brand name. And I've got to recommend it for two reasons. One, it holds your head and neck in the right position. If you've got headaches, it may very well be your pillow. If you're using a down pillow like I used for many years, please try my pillow. It's got a money-back guarantee, and I think it's the pillow's guaranteed itself to last for 10 years. And
if you don't like it within 60 days.
Yeah, 60 days. You can try this, get your money back.
That's 2 months.
Yeah, that's plenty of time to decide whether or not this pillow's for you. Second thing is, when was the last time you washed your pillow?
About a month ago.
That's a question to you. I wasn't holding your eye contact. But yes, only a person with my pillow, like me and you and I, can wash your pillow. Because I never washed a pillow before my pillow. And how are you going to wash a down pillow? You can wash the thing that the feathers are in, but you got to dump them in a can, and then they're all over the place, and you're sneezing.
Yeah.
It's a big mess.
Like me and you is perfectly correct, isn't it, grammar nerds?
No. You would not address yourself first in any sentence. So it's Darryl and I, or Darryl and me, depending on the structure of the sentence.
Right. So basically, replace.
That doesn't sound like grammar. That sounds like unreal etiquette.
No, that's it.
But you always in every coupling of two people in any sentence, you are required to always say the other person first.
Correct.
You're stupid. You don't know English.
It's mypillow.com, code FTL. You get, what do you get here? Something. Oh, you get it at half price. That's a pretty good deal. Or you can get a half price or 2 for 1. mypillow.com, code FTL.
And they have doggy pillows.
Yeah, that's true. They do.
Yeah. Jazzy the studio dog has a MyPillow.
Carl calling in from New Jersey. Carl, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Well, it's on my mind. I look for things made in the USA. The last car I bought for my wife, a Subaru, was made in the USA. I didn't want one of them radioactive ones that I need a Geiger counter from Japan, because the radioactivity still spewing in the water there. And I buy my Oreo cookies when they're on sale, but the ones made in North Jersey, Hanover, New Jersey.
How do you know your Oreo cookies were made, that you're getting the New Jersey Oreo cookies?
Because on the back of the package, it tells me where they're from. Some of them are from Canada, which I didn't know they make them in Canada. But most of them are made in Mexico, and I will not buy them because if they make them all in other countries, I'll buy some other kind of cookies.
Oreos are pretty good, though.
Well, he's a man putting his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
You're not forcing other people to do anything.
But yeah, you look on the back of the Oreo cookies, and they tell you where they're manufactured at.
I'm going to have to look the next time I buy Oreos.
Yeah, I never knew that.
It's funny when you don't trust the government to give you the straight dope on things. You start to do your own research, and you learn more about everything in your life and the things you buy.
It's true.
Right, but there's some products I can't get here. Like I went a new attic way stairway when you pull down many years ago. Both them companies shipped off their manufacturing to Mexico. So when you go and look in the stores, made in Mexico, they say.
Yeah, I'm surprised that more manufacturing isn't done in Mexico, honestly, because it's so much closer than China. Shipping it here has to be significantly cheaper. I can't understand exactly why so much manufacturing is done in China.
Probably some kind of thing written into NAFTA to where it winds up not making it cheaper to do in Mexico.
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if the Chinese government is putting incentives in place that make it just more viable to do over in China, or maybe they've educated the workforce. I couldn't tell you, but all the time I've spent down in Mexico has been great.
Okay, but I get one last question for you. Why, when they shipped all these manufacturing jobs to Mexico, how come they're still coming here to work here? I can't figure it out.
Well, I would give you this answer. The United States is actually manufacturing more than it ever has in history. But we have far fewer manufacturing jobs because most of the jobs are being done by robots. Now we just have a lot more products than we did in the 50s.
And there are still a lot of farming jobs, a lot of these jobs in Maryland, the crab picking jobs.
Yep. I remember there was a story in Georgia. The farmers were trying to get people to pick produce. Couldn't get them to pick produce. They tried to bring in people in prison people in work release programs.
And after a day, they opted to go to solitary confinement.
Right. I mean, prisoners were saying, no, take me to the hole, put me in solitary confinement, whatever it takes, I'm not coming back here and doing this work, because it is just too hard. I don't think Americans, we just don't have what it takes anymore. I can tell you this about the Mongols. So the Mongols conquered, they conquered the East over and over again. Not just the Mongols, but different Saracens and that sort of thing. The horse riders, and they would send their young nobles back into the hinterland to drink fermented mare's milk and be, do life in the steppe. And the reason they did it was to make it hard on them. I think life in the United States is just too easy. And Americans just can't do the work that they need to do in order to keep their lifestyle up.
Yeah, and I pulled up an interview that NPR did with an owner of one of these crab places. And he says, in part, we tried everything to hire Americans, advertising right now as we speak in papers. Not a single person has applied.
Right. They've advertised in papers, and it's not that people have said, I'll do it for twice the money. Not a single person has applied.
Yes.
855-450-3733. This is a probable, almost certain future of restricting immigration.
And let's talk about the money.
450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
This is Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred.
Fred's a repeater.
I tend to repeat.
Fred has a business.
I do have a business.
And a problem. Fred repeats the same tired advertising over and over, and now it doesn't work.
Over and over.
But Fred is about to see a vision.
I'm seeing a vision.
Advertising on the Genesis Communications Network is the smart way for Fred to reach his potential customers with the most affordable national advertising rates, period. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just email advertise@gcnlive.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Jack Daniels announced today its plan to start marketing directly to children, adding, quote, "Why not?" Executives for the whiskey company told reporters that they've already slated dozens of television spots showing 10-year-old children drinking tumblers of Jack and Coke in playgrounds, and that the company was planning on, quote, "just seeing how it all played out."
Every year, Jack Daniels sells millions of dollars of great American whiskey to men and women all over the world. So, for our next ad campaign, we basically just thought, hey, why not just start marketing this stuff straight to 10-year-olds? I mean, if they catch us, but we'll see how far it goes, and hopefully we can sell some alcohol along the way. Sure, some parents groups could get upset, especially if we go with our idea of moms serving their kids cranberry Jack at snack time. But
in other news, a doomed rabbit will teach an 8-year-old a lesson about responsibility, and a torrent of soap issues from a wildly unexpected part of the dispenser. Well, that was it. It's all downhill from here, bud. For more, visit theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's
the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may call in, talk about whatever you want. We are talking about the situation in Maryland where, well, because of the new Trump immigration program, businesses are going under. They just don't have the skilled labor and the skill of picking crab meat out of crab legs or wherever they pick the crab meat.
Probably the torso.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, when I eat crab, generally it's not the torso. It's like the claws, the legs. I don't know. Look, hey, I'm not going to argue. I don't know. Let me tell you about $6 shirts, though. If you've got a closet full of plain and boring T-shirts and you wish you had some shirts that were clever and witty, but you only have $6 and you refuse to buy from people who aren't libertarians, well, I've got news for you. $6shirts.com has a gigantic selection. Every day they add a new shirt of witty, clever T-shirts where you can make the most exciting, what will make you the most exciting person in your social group for as low as $6. And as a matter of fact, if you get on their mailing list, their email list, you'll get the new T-shirt for $4. I mean, you know, where are you going to get that? The shirts, by the way, I just saw this week, they had some daffodils. It was just a little bunch of daffodils, and I understand maybe I'm one of the few guys in America, that small percentage of guys that just loves daffodils, but I think they're the greatest flower. I just love them. I think they're really gorgeous. And that was their $4 shirt. I'm sure it's $6 now, but it's still worth it. And they're sold by a guy like you, a listener of Free Talk Live. It's $6shirts.com. Use code FTL to get 10% off. $6shirts.com. And yes, they accept Bitcoin.
So I just pulled up a video on YouTube very quickly of how to pick meat from a blue crab.
Thank you.
And it appears that they remove the legs, and then they pick the meat out of that torso body area of the crabs.
Well, my mistake.
And
I'm surprised.
I said we'd talk the money. So the interview here from NPR, the interviewer says, well, some would argue, because he said, we've been advertising, haven't got a single applicant.
Yep.
Well, some would argue that if you just raise the wages, then maybe you could get Americans to do the work. Have you thought about doing that?
Right. Well, I mean, it's pretty clear that if you raise the wages high enough, somebody will give it a shot, right?
Right. But again, that goes back to the Americans want high wages and cheap stuff. You can't have cheap crab if you're paying people $7,000 an hour.
Right. Then crab meat moves, blue crab meat, the lowest of crab meat. I'm sorry to tell you, folks. As a Floridian, I suppose I'm expected to say that, but we have stone crab in Florida. So anyway, I'm not going to how about we settle on this? Blue crab meat, not the most desirable form of crab meat.
There's a reason when you go to the grocer and you buy crab legs, they're king crab and snow crab, not blue crab.
Right.
So let's talk the wages.
Right.
Here.
But I just to be clear,
you can bash on blue crab all you want.
I'm not trying to bash on blue crab. I'm just trying to say if you have an American making $75,000 a year with benefits, sitting there picking your meat, those blue crab cakes are going to cost $50 a pair, at which point they're just moved into the league of foie gras, and they don't belong there.
Right. He says, we pay well over minimum wage, and once these girls, they get 2 weeks of training, and after those 2 weeks, they surpass the minimum wage in the United States, and they start getting paid by piecework. They get paid by the pound, $3.25 a pound, and some of these girls can pick between 40 and 50 pounds of crab meat per day.
So what is that per day?
So just doing some quick math, that's about 130 to 160 a day.
That's good. That's good working money. I mean, you're not going to get super wealthy yet, but it's
right.
It's
but
excellent
again,
entry level money.
This is seasonal work, and a lot of Americans do seasonal work. They just don't necessarily cross an international border to do it.
Right. Their seasonal work is retail. They sit there at Moss Brothers and help squirt people with cologne as they go by.
Well, we've known people that have gone to North Dakota to work in the oil fields
that wasn't
for a
really
few
seasonal,
months.
But yeah.
Well, they would do it for a couple of months, save up some money, and then leave. So it was seasonal for them.
Yeah, and $150 a week saved up.
No, $150 a day.
I'm sorry, it's $150 a day saved up. Will go a long way when you go back to northern Mexico.
Right.
Let's go to Dave calling in from the Thumb of Michigan. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
All's well. What's on your mind?
How's the thumb?
Good. Excellent. It's it's a little rainy, cold. We've had 80-mile-an-hour winds for a couple days. We had no power. Power's back on, so I'm not able to listen to you. Normally, I listen on my I got a Grace Digital Internet radio, and I can listen to all kinds of cool shows.
Did you have a hurricane? 80-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, up in the thumb, right? 70 miles. I exaggerate a little bit. Yeah, we had some really crazy winds. No rain, just really super windy, and we had 300,000 people without power.
Jeez, you'd think that would have hit national news, but it didn't.
No kidding.
At least not where I heard. So what's on your mind?
Okay. I'd like to talk about House Bill 1778 there in New Hampshire. What's going on with that?
Oh, the New Hampshire House Bill 1778? Darryl, which one is this?
This is the one I'm pulling up right now because it's not one that I'm necessarily familiar with.
And by the way, Free Talk Live, we don't we don't have anything to do with the New Hampshire House or what they put in, but please go ahead.
So 1778 is relative to registration of commercial motor vehicles and operator/driver's licenses. This is one of those bills that was introduced by Representative Dick Marple.
Oh.
Ian's a big fan of this guy because he does a lot of the freedom to travel.
He amuses me.
That bill got killed back in February by a vote of 287 to 44.
Okay.
Can you explain the purpose of it better? I didn't quite get it. Just that it was related to vehicle registration or something?
Right. So the analysis, according to the bill, this bill reinstates the right to travel, in quotes, and requires the Department of Safety to provide at no cost to all non-commercial automobile and non-commercial conveyance owners a decal and identification card that states that the holder is exempt from registering his or her private conveyance under the Universal Commercial Code, or rather the Uniform Commercial Code. Exemption for consumer goods and household goods. Also repeals the requirement for certain drivers to acquire non-commercial driver's licenses. So it buys into the, I guess, sort of a sovereign man, sovereign citizen sort of thing of, well, you have a right to travel, and unless you are doing commercial activity going upon the way, then you do not have to register and something and would codify. And again, the legislature did not agree with that.
What are your thoughts on it,
by a vote
Dave?
of 287 to 44, killed the bill.
Yeah, if I may. So the driver's license was created for commerce, for commercial driving. If you were paid for hire to drive, either a truck or a taxi, or you even hauled people around like you were a taxi in your own automobile, there is no code in any state of this union that says anybody that's not driving needs a driver's license or a driver. It's actually a driver license. So there's a lot of groups out there that...
There are a lot of groups.
So is
They'll
this
all
the
go to
argument,
jail if they don't have a driver's license.
Is this the argument that if you're sitting behind the steering wheel and you are, moving in some kind of self-contained thing with 4 or more wheels.
It's a vessel.
And an internal combustion engine that you are traveling, you are not driving, and there is a distinction between the two?
Absolutely.
I've got to say that I think that I'm not sure I agree that there is a right to travel. I mean, like, how did the roads between people's farms become this right of way that everybody has the right to travel on? I'm willing to talk to you about it, though, Dave, if you hold the line.
Cool.
The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. This is the sort of, shop talk that libertarians have. So see how they agree and disagree. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in and talk about whatever you want, as evidenced by Dave from Michigan. Wants to discuss the right to travel. So there is a legislator here in New Hampshire. His name is Dick Marple. He put in a bill that was recently shot down that gave what would have given people the right to travel and in a conveyance without having to pay fees and all this stuff to get in cars. And let's bring Dave here back on to give his statement here, because I kind of want to flesh out this right to travel idea. So, Dave, tell me what the right to travel is.
Well, the roads were created not so much for commerce. What did our president back in the 50s, the General
Eisenhower?
Yeah, he created the roadways.
That's the interstate.
Right.
Roads existed prior to Eisenhower being president.
Yep, they had the.
Well, I know that, but so this is the deal. There's no codes in any state that driving that say anybody needs a driver's license except for commercial hire.
They'll certainly act like there are those rules. I'm not going to dispute it because I can't prove otherwise. It's like saying I don't know.
Right. So there's a lot of folks out there that believe, that that's the law. They've shown it. They prove it, and
they'll incarcerate you over it.
They travel without plates or registration. They have personal plates that say not for hire.
Yep.
And they don't have a driver's license. And when they get pulled over for whatever reason, sometimes they get let go. Other times the cops, they're trained to beat them up. I know.
When you say beat them up,
people,
do you mean physically?
Oh, I know a 78-year-old man in Nevada. He was or in Arizona. He was beaten to a pulp 3 times for traveling without a driver's license.
Okay.
And he paid $5,000 in fines. I mean, he was beaten severely.
And again, just to get some clarification, because there might be people that didn't hear the first part of your call, your statements about there's no statute or code or anything else is based on a belief that the word drive and travel mean 2 different things?
That's correct.
Yep.
Right, because I've pulled up the New Hampshire RSA that says no person except those expressly exempted under, and then they cite another statute, shall drive any motor vehicle upon any way in this state unless the person has a valid driver's license. And again, your statement is that doesn't mean that I have to get something to travel, because traveling and driving are different things, and motor vehicle and automobile are different things.
That's right.
Okay, so let me rebut, if I may. I would say that the concept of the right to travel is not libertarian, and I would defend that with. That there are private roads, right? Like we know that they exist. Well, in gated communities have private roads. Disneyland has private roads.
The first turnpike in New Hampshire was privately owned,
until
and there's
it wasn't.
A big, huge, giant green
but it's not.
historical
Let me
sign.
Go on. There's a lot of private roads currently, right now, today. Right. As a matter of fact, in California, they have private toll roads. And I would ask you this: do you have the right to travel on a private toll road?
Sure, if you pay the toll.
Well, I mean, but a right to travel suggests free. I'm
not disputing that. That there are
okay.
Crooks out there that are charging people money to drive on roads that aren't private, that have tolls on them.
Okay.
That were sold to foreign countries.
So,
I'm not disputing that.
I don't know whether they've been sold to foreign countries, but they're private roads.
No actual laws that I guess I missed. Spoke there when I said no codes or statutes. There are codes and statutes, but those aren't laws. Those are suggested regulations, rules.
Oh, well, the police are going to enforce it as if it were law.
Some police let people go for traveling instead of driving, and others don't. But there's a lot of groups that I talked to that were excited about that bill, and they thought it was passed. So I don't know where they.
No.
I don't see. I can't navigate a computer anymore, so I just thought, you guys know, you guys are there. In New
Yeah, they
Hampshire, so
probably
you would
saw
know.
the vote of 287 to 44 and thought that it passed, but the motion was to kill the bill.
Okay.
I would suggest, sorry to interrupt, Dave,
Not at all.
that the problem, to go a little further back in history, comes when you agree to give the state of New Hampshire or the state of or another state, when you give the government money for them to maintain roads. After you do that, then you set a precedent for paying for it every year, and you're also going to end up with their rules. They're going to treat it like their own.
They're the road owner, basically,
and they're gonna have their rules for it, and they're going to enforce them on you, and you're wasting your time with this traveling versus driving business.
I would say that what
I
is
agree.
unlibertarian about government roads isn't the government owning roads. It's the government having eminent domain to take people's property to build new roads.
Right.
That's where the unlibertarian aspect comes. When you force somebody to sell their property, because a private company can't do that. Whereas today, I can compete by being a road builder and putting roads up and compete with the government. I can make superior roads, and then I can compete the same way that private schools do with public schools. Now, obviously, people of means who care a great deal are the only ones who are going to use my roads, but that's the conundrum that public schools have or private schools have currently. 95% of the people can't afford their costs, their fees and tuition, but about 5% of the population will go to a private school.
Mark, I think to say that eminent domain exists is another way of saying that allodial title does not exist for a regular Joe in the U.S. Allodial title, I believe, means that you are the top dog. You're the highest claimant to ownership of your property, and that Thomas Jefferson, back in the founding of our country, wanted for people to be able to have that, but that idea was killed. So the only entity that can claim to have any allodial title in the United States is the federal government or one of its clients,
the state government.
Like the states are clients of the feds.
That's functionally the way it goes. But it was the states that fought a revolutionary war against the king or the allode. And that's where the allodial title comes from. It is a noble claim. And
Correct.
In this Constitution of the United States, where it says there will be no titles of nobility, the state claims the allode, the state, not the federal government. The state claims the allode, the ability to tax you, and that's why your taxes on your property come from the state. It's the same as a noble saying to the serf, "I will take 1/3 of your grain, and you may sell the rest." It's called a quit rent. That's what they called it back in the day. You are renting your land that your house is on, and your house, and even the house. I mean, they tell you, "Oh, you pay this," and if you don't pay it, they take it from you.
And the word
obviously you don't own it.
The word allodial comes from the word allodium, meaning land exempt from feudal duties.
There you go. Thanks for the call, Dave. Appreciate it.
One more question.
Okay.
I need a call and listen line so I can listen to your show because I don't have internet right now. Ian gave me one before, and that was an old phone, and I lost all that data.
I know it's written down here somewhere.
Surely it's on that website somewhere.
I will give it on
Mark?
the air here in the next segment, okay?
But he can't hear it.
I won't be able to. I can't.
Put him on
I'm not able
hold.
to listen live.
Mark,
Okay.
Put him on hold. We'll get the number to the board operator. Board operator will get the number to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. So when it really comes down to this idea of allodial title, I find it to be, I would love that. But if you could get the allodial title to a piece of land, you are essentially your own country.
Right.
Yes.
And that's what the concept was of, each man's home is his castle. That's what the idea was here in America, is that it'd be a bunch of little places where people would be able to make their own, customized rules for their property and that kind of thing, as long as they lived within the, non-Hobbesian, the Hobbesian society, or whatever. And it seems like it would work out, but the government just cannot let go. If you ask somebody who's in power, even if it's you, if you're in power and I ask you, might I please have a few of my rights? Your answer has to be no, because government, as we've known it up to this point for the 11,000 years, 9,000 years of the Since the agrarian revolution, government as we've known it has been a power structure that has been from the top down and forced upon whomever is in a particular area.
Found that listen line. It is 712-770-8447.
Say it again.
712-770-8447. That's the LRN Audio On Demand line. Press 2 for Free Talk Live.
There you go. And if you want to call in and talk about, well, whatever issue it might be, the number's 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Where did you find that, by the way, Darryl?
Listen.freetalklive.com.
Thank you.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, May 4th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.47 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,314 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $40, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,628. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. military is more deeply involved in the Saudi war in Yemen than officials ever admitted. In fact, new evidence suggests the Pentagon lied to Congress during the March debate about U.S. involvement, presenting the U.S. role at present being limited to targeting and mid-air refueling of Saudi warplanes. The New York Times is reporting there are actually a small number of U.S. special forces on the ground at the Saudi border with Yemen. Those troops have not only been on the ground since late 2017, but are there on a mission to help the Saudi military fight Yemen's Shiite Houthi movement. No public debate ever took place with respect to this deployment. Indeed, the Pentagon appears to have gone to great lengths not to tell the American public or Congress about the Green Berets they sent to the border. The Green Berets are intended to help the Saudis locate and destroy Houthi missiles and attack Houthi missile launch sites inside Yemen. This has been going on despite the Trump administration telling Congress that America's involvement in Yemen was purely non-combat, and again despite the Pentagon repeatedly saying that America's sole involvement in Yemen was logistical and support for the air war. Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia said the Pentagon was deliberately blurring the lines between train and equip missions and combat. It is unclear from the report from the New York Times if the U.S. troops crossed into Yemen, but given that their mission was to target Houthi sites, it seems almost certain that they have. CENTCOM Commander General Joseph Votel, during the March debate, did say he had authorization to help the Saudis defend their border. At that time, however, he told the Senate that this was being done purely through intelligence sharing and military military advice. Clearly, it also involved physical U.S. troops on the border. It remains to be seen what the consequences of the Pentagon's deception will be domestically. At the very least, it seems like this could provide a new pretext for a vote on ending U.S. involvement in the Yemen war, as Congress lacked all the information they needed to have an informed vote in March. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Twitter encouraged all of its users to change their passwords on Thursday after discovering a bug that caused passwords to be stored without proper encryption. The social media platform discovered a bug that caused user passwords to be stored in an internal log without going through a process known as hashing, in which password characters are replaced with a random set of numbers and letters. Twitter's chief technology officer wrote in a blog post, "Due to a bug, passwords were written to an internal log before completing the hashing process. We found this error ourselves, removed the passwords, and are implementing plans to prevent this bug from happening again." The CTO said the bug had been fixed, and an investigation showed there was no indication of breach or misuse by anyone. He still encouraged users to change their passwords out of an abundance of caution, and Twitter pushed a pop-up window to users explaining the bug and including a link to the settings page. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports the Republican-controlled Oklahoma legislature approved an adoption measure on Thursday that critics say discriminates against same-sex couples, non-Christians, and single parents. The bill would allow faith-based adoption agencies, including those that receive public funding, to turn away would-be parents on the basis of their marital status or religion and religious beliefs. Supporters of the bill said the legislation would open the door for more child placement partnerships. The State House of Representatives approved the bill by a vote of 56 to 21 without discussion or debate, despite vocal objections by the Democratic caucus. Earlier in the day, the Senate passed the bill by a vote of 33 to 7. Opponents of the bill could mount a legal challenge. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A report released Tuesday by physicists at Stanford University revealed that the entire known universe, from the whole of human civilization to the totality of matter and energy, is actually the fictional setting of a cop show called Hard Case. According to authors of the report, existence as we know it was created solely to provide the framework for the primetime drama that airs weekly in a parallel universe, and that every historical event prior to the show's September 2008 pilot, including the Renaissance, World War II, evolution, the September 11th attacks, and the presidential administrations of Washington through Clinton, never actually happened and are merely part of the elaborate backstory crafted by Hard Case creator and showrunner Dominic Egan.
We used to believe that our universe operated under immutable laws of thermodynamics and gravitational relativity, but now we know everything just comes from the minds of Hard Case's 12 staff writers. Overall, it seems like a very well-written show.
Physicists have theorized that the universe as we know it will cease to exist whenever Hard Case airs its final episode.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live here at 855-450-3733. When I give that number the next time, put it in your phone so you're ready to go. Because at some point, I'm going to say something that upsets you so much, you're going to want to call in and talk about it.
It's a good thing I'm sitting right here.
What are you going to do about it?
I'll just start talking.
Wince, I see. All right. Well, yeah, we basically covered the story about the immigrants there. Let's go to the phones and to the fun here. It's Millie calling in from Georgia. Millie, you're on Free Talk Live.
Okay.
You said to call in about something that you say that we're upset about.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay. This is for the grammar challenge, young man, in your studio there.
It's one of us. So who is it?
All right, Johnny.
It's that one or the other one, and I'm not real
I think it's Jonny Ray from North Carolina. You know,
I was the one who took exception to Mark correcting himself.
Oh, okay. Now, this is the subject. Do you use you and I or you and me? And I'm going to tell you a shortcut on how to know every time the correct pronoun to use. And here's just a little example. Now, here's a sentence. Remember when you and I went to the movie? The guy handed the tickets to you and me.
That's right.
Okay. Drop off the other person. Remember when I went to the movie? You wouldn't say, remember when me went to the movie?
Me go
you
movie.
You would say, remember when I went to the movie. Okay, so the other one is, the guy handed the tickets to you and me. You wouldn't say, the guy handed the tickets to I. You would say, the guy handed the tickets to me. And if you just drop off the second person, you will get the correct pronoun.
So how's
that for you?
I think that's the best way to remember it that I've heard so far.
In the example that drew my ire, Mark had correctly used me in the object of the sentence. If you're talking about the subject of the sentence, you use I. If it's, for example, the object of the sentence, you would otherwise use me. So that's how Mark had used it. But then he said later he changed it to Darryl. He changed it from me and Darryl to Darryl and I. So you were incorrect the second time when you corrected yourself.
Yes, but it's what you took exception to, as I recall, was whether or not I should have Darryl first.
No, I took exception to that because that was something that you made up that has nothing to do with the rules of English.
So I would say for the shortening, Millie's exactly right.
But I agree with the politeness of always putting the other person first.
I think that's what one should do. Yeah,
plain polite.
I'm nodding my head.
Yes.
I can't argue with that.
I will go ahead and further say this. So when it comes to the direct object in speaking, especially on live radio at a fast clip like we tend to do here on Free Talk Live, that's the style. Right. It's safer to just say I than it is to say me, simply because most people won't take umbrage to you using I, whereas they will take umbrage to you saying
and
me.
And I'll tell you the one that annoys me that a lot of the
it annoys
younger, a lot of the younger people have taken up, and that's using the word myself instead of either I or me.
Yeah, myself is please go ahead, Billy.
That's very frustrating. All of the younger generations' language and grammar is frustrating.
Yeah.
But one reason I wanted to get this out there is in case there are some English as a second language people, when you simplify it like this, they're more apt to get it right, to remember.
Millie, I think that's an English as a first language trouble too. I mean, it's.
I agree.
No doubt.
Well, after having been
in the habit of doing it right, it just comes naturally.
Indeed.
I want to say
here's my second point, real quick. Can I just get?
Yep, please go right ahead.
Okay. Why there's a lot of questioning out there why Christians support such a supposedly ungodly man as Trump.
Okay.
I can tell you in one word why we do, and that word is Israel. He is pro-Israel. Most Christians are pro-Israel. We knew that any human being, whether he blatantly has this grand, I'm not being judgmental here, but I'm just saying, quotes unquote, unholy lifestyle. Outwardly, there's not a soul who isn't inwardly deficient, spiritually deficient somehow, that just nobody knows about. But we voted for him for his policies. And I don't understand why the people on, CNN and MSNBC and those channels that are continually putting him down and putting Christians down for voting for him, as if we voted for the man over and above the policy.
Well, I think that they don't understand. I didn't understand until you said it. Now, in my opinion, Israel, the nation that exists now, is by no means in any way, shape, or form like the nation that was in the Bible. And therefore, it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
God's promise is not reneged. God never reneged on his promise.
What's the promise?
That the land of Israel would belong to Abraham's children.
Aren't we all Abraham's children by the definition?
We are only Abraham's children if we are baptized in Jesus' name. And that is...
That rules out everybody in the Knesset, doesn't it? And most of Israel?
I'm not sure what the Knesset is.
No. I mean, unless you're genetically.
Okay.
But the Christians, in the last 3 or 4 verses of Galatians 3, explains how Gentiles inherit God's kingdom through Abraham, and the way we become children of we Gentiles is through adoption.
Right, but that's not talking about an earthly kingdom.
Yeah, but hold on. I'll give you that one in here in a second, Darryl. But it's my understanding Ashkenazi Jews were a part of were Europeans that were converted to Judaism, so they would never have been baptized in the name of Jesus, nor would they be genetic children of Abraham. But it's Ashkenazi Jews that are by and large populating Israel. So that would,
and most of the Arabs are descendants of Abraham because Abraham had 2 sons.
Well, that would be Ishmael. So the Arabs, as the Sephardics.
Actually, Abraham had 4 sons, but nobody talks about the 2.
I'm not familiar with
his concubine. Yeah.
I thought Ishmael was from his concubine. What? I can't remember her name, but
Hagar.
Hagar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the call, Millie. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I think I like the grammar talk better than I like the Israel talk, but
and a lot of
it's just one of those things that we're never going to quite come together on.
Israel is like the last white colonial power in the world. That's how I see it.
A lot of Christians will look at there was a promise that God made to Abram when his name was changed to Abraham of whoever blesses you, I will bless. That was specifically to Abraham, that one individual person. It was not to all of the descendants.
I see. Well, what about when Jesus gave Peter the keys of the kingdom? That's been passed down from pope to pope to pope to pope, from time immemorial or whatever. So, that's their claim.
That's largely a Catholic teaching, and I don't know what Catholic. I was not raised Catholic.
That's why Peter is supposedly at the pearly gates when you go up there, because he was given the keys to the kingdom.
Right.
I guess
the non physical kingdom.
Whatever that means.
Post life.
Yeah. Deny Jesus 3 times, and then you get the keys to the kingdom. It's a great deal. Whatever. 855-450-3733, 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. You can call us on Skype. The username is lrn.fm. You will sound great. And our Discord, you can call in on that. It's discord.freetalklive.com. What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. Tony Wright is a perfect example of the power of DNA. The Innocence Project litigated for almost 6 years to get the court's permission for DNA testing. Tony had been incarcerated for nearly 25 years in Pennsylvania and narrowly escaped the death penalty. Tony's case, sadly, is not unique. Empowered with the unequivocal proof of innocence provided by DNA technology, the Innocence Project has litigated hundreds of wrongful conviction cases, leading to the exoneration and freedom for more than 180 people through DNA testing. Overall, there have been 356 DNA exonerees in the United States who were wrongfully imprisoned for more than 4,875 years in total. You can help support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry in the New York City Marathon by going to run.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
And you can call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about. We have discussed the immigration issue going on in Maryland. Basically, there aren't enough. The new Trump administration's change in the immigration law, the H-2B visa, has left businesses in the lurch, and they're just shutting their doors. And that wouldn't have been a selling point, in my opinion, to the Trump campaign. We're gonna restrict immigration, and businesses that rely on them are gonna shut down. But whatever it might be. Want to tell you real quick about Bouqs. Bouqs is short for bouquets, and it's a company that delivers flowers. And it's not just your average company, because there's this whole system of flower deliveries. There's people that grow them, and the people that arrange them, and the people that deliver them, and they're all in different businesses. Bouqs, they do it all in one. They are a company that grows the flowers, and they take your order, and they deliver them. And all you'd have to do is go to Bouqs.com, and thus these flowers last significantly longer. I've got flowers that I gave to my wife for Mother's Day from Bouqs, and they're still going strong. It's Bouqs, Bouqs.com. By the way, some of these farms are even located on the side of a volcano. They are booking awesome. Mom will post pictures of them and brag about them to her friends. Just go to Bouqs.com. They've cut out the middleman. And if you use coupon code FTL, you get an extra 15% off at Bouqs.com. I'm going to spell it one more time for you for these artisan design flowers. Bouqs.com. Coupon code FTL to save 15%. Jonny Ray, apparently some churches out west are upset at police officers?
From the Washington Post, Julie Zalzmer. Churches make a drastic pledge in the name of social justice to stop calling the police.
Okay.
First Congregational Church of Oakland shares a neighborhood.
I wouldn't even make that pledge, but all right.
It's, yeah. I mean, I could see... you would really have to feel pretty strongly one way about it to make that pledge.
I don't believe that protection services should be government-instituted monopolies. But if I am forced to pay for a government-instituted monopoly, you can believe that if I need protection services, I will use that one.
Well, and there are certain things that you are basically obligated to call the police for. If your home is broken into and you would like to file a claim with your homeowner's insurance,
they're not going to take
they
a
will
private
not
detective.
allow you to file a claim without a police report. If your car is broken into or stolen, the car insurance company will not, process a claim without a police report.
Tis true.
First Congregational Church of Oakland shares a neighborhood with many homeless people who often come to the church in times of mental health crises. Sometimes church members feel unequipped to deal with the erratic behavior. The most heart-wrenching scenes, volunteer leader Nicola Torbett says, are the times when the church is closing for the day and a person with nowhere else to go absolutely refuses to leave the building. At least once or twice a month, at their wits' end, the church members call 911. Now, the church has joined a small handful of like-minded congregations with a radical goal: to stop calling the police.
What are they going to have, bouncers? Something.
Not for mental health crises. That might be addressed later. I think they're replaced with words and kindness as far as that will take them.
Well, at some point, words and kindness won't get somebody who doesn't want to leave your property to leave.
Yeah, it could be combined with a handgun.
Right. Words, kindness, and a handgun will get somebody to leave your property in most circumstances. If you use the handgun, you can then just remove the person from your property.
The church has joined a small handful of like-minded organizations with a radical goal to stop calling the police, not for mental health crises, not for graffiti on their buildings, not even for acts of violence. These churches believe the American police system, criticized for its impact, especially on people of color, is such a problem that they should wash their hands of it entirely. I think so, too, and the reason is that no monopoly will ever get better than it feels like getting better.
Right. So, and that's true with organizations generally. Organizations don't generally change because they just love change. They generally change because they feel pressure to change.
Steel sharpens steel, but waving a sword around in the air is not going to sharpen it any. You need it. The police have to have some kind of competition. Any agency who claims who wants some of your money, who wants some of your paycheck to give you the protection services, they need somebody else who can also win that money away from them by winning over the consumer's confidence. They need that in order to get better. Otherwise, they won't get better fast enough.
Okay, so I believe, Jonny Ray, that one should live one's life as one hopes the world will be. However, I think that to think that the police are going to react to a handful of churches or, a small 1% of their constituent population saying, no, I'm not going to call the police anymore, and 1% more of their population, because I can assure you that there are many immigrant and minority communities out there that don't call the police now.
Right.
They just, whatever. If they see a crime, they walk away because there's just no point to them. They're scared of calling the police, and I can understand why they would do that. So you get 1 or 2% of the population, an additional 1 or 2%. It still doesn't put any pressure on the police, because the police can always go out and find crime. Well, there are enough laws that the police will always find crimes, so they can always look busy.
I think that if you've got 1% of the church-going public who are going to churches that have this no police policy, that 1% has a chance of influencing another church. And then maybe you get another church, then maybe you're 3, then 12, then 50, then 60% of the churches. And then still the police can continue to misbehave because they don't rely on the active consent and support of the people. As long as they can get your resignation that it won't ever be any better, then that'll work for them.
Well, what about the argument that I would say is a fairly valid argument that having this policy of we're not calling the cops is just going to encourage, say, bad behavior?
Crime.
Because then scammers I can come scam this entire group of people and they're never going to report me, and I can get away with all these scams because they're not calling the cops.
Well, scamming is an easy example. I mean, people can protect themselves from scammers, and if you're interested in helping these elderly churchgoers, for example, if you're interested in helping them against scammers, then you're able to do that.
It's not that easy, but police don't do much for scammers anyway. But I would say that in the area of crime, generally you're going to find criminals. You're going to want to go to the place where it's easiest to commit crime. If you say, we're not calling the police, you make yourselves one of those easy areas.
Unless you're armed.
There's that. These churches don't sound like those kind of places to me. But I'd like to go into it a bit further. The number is 855-450-3733. I am very interested in your opinion on this subject. 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
When commercials come on, don't push the button. Instead, listen. Even if you don't sell things for a living, you're still selling in the various conversations and transactions that make up your busy day. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. So take a lesson from Madison Avenue. Often the fewer words, the more effective the message. Like Jiffy Lube, where you never need an appointment, or the Office Max ad that says, you supply the ambition, we supply everything else. How about online ticket broker StubHub.com, the way in when it's sold out, or CyberCupidMatch.com's seductive, go ahead, it's okay to look. How cleverly and succinctly can you distill your message? For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. And you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind on this live edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
And we were just talking about, we'll get right back into it. We have a call on the line, and I want to get to it, but I want to reset for folks. We're talking about these churches in California that have made a pledge to no longer call the police. And what was the reason, basically, what they do to homeless folks or something?
Well, we hadn't gotten there yet.
All right. Well, I'm going to hear that. We're going to hear that, too. I want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is the premier voice in cryptocurrency. And whether you're a noob, you can go there and find out how to get wallets, where to acquire Bitcoin, where to acquire cryptocurrency, whatever help you need, as a neophyte. They've got it at Bitcoin.com. Also, they've got the latest news, so if you're very familiar with cryptocurrencies, you're going to want to know the things they're reporting on at news.bitcoin.com. Maybe you want to mine Bitcoin. I found a lot of people that really just want to mine for whatever reason. I got to mine Bitcoin. I don't want to buy it. I want to mine it. All right. Go to Pool. That's as in mining pool. Pool.bitcoin.com. But if you just go to bitcoin.com, you'll be able to navigate to all these things right from there. It's a great website, easy to use, bitcoin.com. And before we get into it, Jonny Ray, I want to take Sarah from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Oh, yes. I'm excited. I got you on the radio. I only get it on Saturday and Sunday, so I was listening to you before I called in. But I just wanted to mention that New Mexico, our state, is an ideal place to test out the self-driving cars because it's not a big deal if we get killed by a self-driving car. It's like, well, so what? Because we're going to get killed by a drunk driver or a hit-and-run driver. Did you know that we're number one in pedestrian hit-and-run and bicycle fatalities now per population?
I'd have to check on it, and some of the statistics you've given on the air are right, and some of them, are
that's something
dubious,
she called in about on Thursday, and I did pull up, and according to the preliminary data put out by the Highway Board, I forget which one, she is correct on that.
Congratulations, Sarah.
Do you know what the safest state is?
Vermont.
New Hampshire.
Oh, okay.
New Hampshire. Well, the thing is, though, you know what? They kill 31 people were just left dying, bleeding to death, and they all ran off because I guess they were in a hurry. I guess they left something in a pot or something.
Well, you don't want the house burning down.
Well, I mean, you know what? I think they don't want to be held accountable. That's
I suspect
why
that's
left.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Who? The people getting hit by the cars or the people driving the cars?
Who do you think, Darryl?
With Sarah, you never know.
Well, if you're hit and you're knocked unconscious and you're dying, you're bleeding to death, who's going to run off? It's the one that's got a ton car. The car is going to drive off, you know, because they don't want to be held accountable.
Right,
So
but again, Sarah, we've gone over statistics, and of the people hit in Albuquerque, which is the city that you live in, those that get hit by cars, the majority of them, 1, are nowhere near a crosswalk, and 2, are drunk.
Sarah, what are you going to do about the drunk non-crosswalk using pedestrians in Albuquerque?
If it was all their fault, why are they running off as fast as possible? They don't want to get caught.
I don't know. They're illegal immigrants and they don't want to go to jail?
Well, I don't know. But
maybe.
And you're just assuming that everybody that hits a pedestrian drives off. I can almost guarantee you that some of those people hang around and do wind up seeking medical attention for the person that they just accidentally hit.
And sometimes...
But Sarah seems to think that people that hit pedestrians are doing it like Grand Theft Auto style of just, let me see how many pedestrians I can mow down.
But also, sometimes, hit and runs... Sometimes you just don't know that you've hit somebody.
Right.
That happens. It's unfortunate, but it does happen.
Well, I know about
especially
that.
Especially if you're drunk.
They run over the same pedestrian 2 times, 2 different cars at night. I know that they do that here. Believe me.
You've made that claim multiple times.
Well, hold on. Are you saying somebody runs over a pedestrian, goes and gets a different car, and then runs them over again? That's murder. That's not an accident.
No, she's saying that multiple people run over the same car. She's also said that they back up and run over them and then pull forward again.
I'm sure that if you're going back to find out what you hit.
Sarah says lots of things, and about half of them are somewhere in the neighborhood of the truth, but
like
not
the truth.
necessarily the truth.
Truthy.
That's when you catch a husband in a hotel with another woman, you find them, screw them, and then you go back and forth like 10 times. A lady did that. But I'm typically the first one.
A lady found my husband in a hotel room. But sure, a video of this. Thanks for the call, Sarah. I appreciate it. The number is 855-450-3733.
And now you wonder why I asked Sarah stupid questions, because she just changes subjects so quickly to where you never know what she's talking about.
You two are perfect for each other.
No.
You ought to get introduced in real life.
I'd rather not.
As I touched on in the last segment discussing the story, it's got a racial aspect to it.
Yep.
I suspect, having gotten this far into the story, that the churches. I read it in its entirety last week.
Yep. When you brought it in for show prep, then. Yep.
Yep. But I haven't read the whole thing today, but I believe it's going to get into the racial aspect and that these churches are probably black churches, and that is why they don't trust the police. That has something to do with why they don't trust the police. And I wanted to say personally before I went on that I think racism is present in many, many of these police abuse cases. I think racism is prevalent in the police force. I think it's likely, personally, I'm going to go out on a limb here, I think racism, anti-black racism, for example, is overrepresented in the police community. But I think the reason I think that's a consequence and not a cause. I think that the cause is that the police is a monopoly everywhere you go, and they don't need to reform. I think markets kill racism because it's not racism doesn't help you in business. It hurts you.
Yep. It limits your target audience. If you say I'm only going to serve white people, well, you've got a market that's already diminished and diminishing. So I would also like to go on and say that in my interactions with police have generally been good, and they've generally done a pretty good job for me. But not everybody would say that, and nobody should be forced to pay for a service that they don't want.
back to the story, quote, can this actually be reformed when it was actually created for the unjust distribution of resources or to police black and brown bodies? Torbett asked. For her and her fellow church members, the answer is no. The police don't just need reform. The police need to be abandoned altogether. I love it. That's me parenthetically. The churches call their drastic approach divesting from policing. They say that one headline after another about policing around the country shows that divestment is necessary. Most recently, events include a notorious call to police about 2 African-American men at a Philadelphia Starbucks.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's recently those guys settled with the city of Philadelphia for $1 each and a promise to create a program for, I think it was $250,000, maybe it was
$200,000.
Okay, so $200,000 for an entrepreneurship program.
Correct. That they would be on the board
not a program
of.
to help a bunch of wayward youths or anything like that that you always hear about. Specifically, a program for entrepreneurship in the style of W.E.B. Du Bois, or Du Bois, depending on which school of thought you are on that particular last name. Yeah, whatever his last name might have been. His idea was, look, entrepreneurship is the way out for black Americans.
And they also got an unspecified amount from Starbucks.
Okay.
Yeah, the only person I hold liable in that situation was the manager, that one individual. I don't think Starbucks is to blame. I don't think the Philadelphia police are abusing their typical role as peace officers there. The owner, the business owner, or their representative wanted somebody off their property, so that's what the police were there to execute.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
This is Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred.
Fred's a repeater.
I tend to repeat.
Fred has a business.
I do have a business.
And a problem. Fred repeats the same tired advertising over and over, and now it doesn't work.
Over and over.
But Fred is about to see a vision.
I'm seeing a vision.
Advertising on the Genesis Communications Network is the smart way for Fred to reach his potential customers with the most affordable national advertising rates, period. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just email advertise@gcnlive.com.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Free Talk Live.
One of the counselor's excuses for her behavior after call accused her of engaging in stealing. This is stealing. You're taking something from somebody who believed they owned something, and by all evidence did own something. You're taking it from them. And as you say, Mark, this goes on all across the country. They're called tax sales or tax deeds. Whenever people drop back in not being able to pay property taxes, in this case, it's because of the down economy. These people are having a tough time. At one point, she got very frustrated, and she said, well, it's not stealing because it's It's the law. So apparently when the law says you can take something that's not yours, it's not stealing. And now all the law is, as you pointed out, you talk about the Constitution that's supposed to be the highest law of the land. The law is just words on paper written down by men and women. Some of them signed their names to it, but most of us, in fact 99.999% of us, never signed anything in regards to their laws.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
We are talking about some churches out in California which are
divesting.
Divesting themselves of the police. And certainly it's within their rights, but I mean, how much more successful, Jonny Ray, could this be than the people who have divested themselves of government school? So I don't send my son to government school.
You still pay for it.
I am forced, at the point of a gun, to pay for it. Potentially the point of a gun. Like, if it was necessary to drive me and my family out of my house after I hadn't paid taxes long enough, they would certainly use guns to do it, right? And the government school lives on. It's been going on for 100 years with private schools running right alongside. I just kind of feel like it's not going to have any more success than that.
Homeschooling, personally, in the future, I've got a good long-term opinion on the human race.
Okay.
I think that the world.
You're bullish on humans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think,
as am I.
And I think public.
We really are survivors ultimately. Like Americans. Fat, lazy, and entitled, but the human race, survivors.
Yeah. Public schools' days are numbered, and homeschooling and the visible and clear success of homeschooling is a part of the end of public education.
Agreed.
And I think that's what's going to happen here. The churches call their drastic approach divesting. Mark, I think that I'm going to rip off the late heroic Will Grigg here and say no situation is so bad that it cannot be made worse by calling the police.
He's the William. What was it? William Norman Grigg?
Yes.
William Norman Grigg was no fan of the government monopoly police departments.
The project of divesting is organized by Showing Up for Racial Justice, a nationwide organization that tries to get white Americans working on behalf of racial justice. The 4 Unitarian and Protestant churches that have joined so far include 3 in the Bay Area and 1 in Iowa City. The Northern California-Nevada Conference of the United Church of Christ has signed on to recruit from among its member states, and the Bay Area churches are talking to more congregations in their area from denominations including the Disciples of Christ and the Presbyterian Church USA. It's a challenging ask, acknowledged the Reverend Ann Dunlap, a United Church of Christ minister who leads SURJ's outreach to faith communities. It's a big ask to invite us as white folks to think differently about what safety means. Who do we rely on? What is safe? For whom? Should our safety be predicated on violence for other communities? And if not, what can we do if we're confronted with a situation because we are as congregations? How do we handle it if there's a burglary? How do we handle it if there's a situation of violence or abuse in the congregation? I think she's speaking right out of your playbook there, Mark. What you've got right now, we have one answer to that. If we have a violent situation unfolding, personally, I don't think it's a good idea to ever call the police, but I certainly understand why anybody who's being preyed upon by somebody else would do so.
I also understand why, as a Quaker, and one of the tenets of Quakers is peace, and the suggestion is that Quakers will just put up with any kind of violence visited upon them and do nothing about it. I don't know any Quaker that wouldn't, at the very least, call the law, right? Which is just licensing your violence to someone else, or your retribution, whatever it might be,
right.
Whatever terminology you wish to use for this. But I know plenty of Quakers who have guns in their houses. There's an apocryphal story of a Quaker is, brother, or I think that what's the friend, I surely don't want to hurt thee, but I'm soon going to fire my weapon and it's going to hit right behind you, or something like that, right? Like the story is like, hey, you visited the wrong house and you're going to die if you don't walk back out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And, it shows this odd relationship that people that are pacifists have to violence. And ultimately, people will defend the lives of those they love.
Yeah, I don't agree with what I understand to be the pacifist position, because I think there's only one answer to some people. Some people are animals and they don't understand or don't choose to understand how to live like civilized people, and if that person is put down, that's, if their life is ended, I think sometimes that's the best thing to do with someone.
I think that probably the best way to really understand pacifism and is for people to change their mind about what they believe the term pacifism means. Pacifism, as I have understood it from the vast majority of people who claim to be it, is that they don't believe in war. They're anti-war. They don't believe governments should use violence against people, those kind of things. They don't believe in capital punishment. So basically they're of the opinion the government shouldn't use violence, not that people shouldn't use violence. Pretty much everybody ultimately is willing to use some kind of physical action to prevent violence. If a man's coming at you screaming with an axe, and all you have to do to stop him from cleaving your skull asunder is to close a door in front of him, it's taking an action, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like it's, matter has moved through space and time, and he is no longer able to commit his act. What is the difference between closing the door and shooting him center of mass? Not much from the standpoint of the person.
Closing the door isn't going to cause him to die.
Yeah, but him dying keeps him from cleaving somebody else's skull asunder. So I would argue that it is the more moral act.
You asked what's the difference.
I understand, but I'm just saying from a calorie standpoint, closing a door and pulling a trigger, about the same.
The churches that commit to ending their use of police resources are training members in alternate responses to danger. Torbett said at First Congregational, church leaders have invited experts from several nonprofits to train members on de-escalating mental health crises.
I want to hear a bit more about this. I want to take this calling in from Jake from North Carolina. Jake, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how you doing this evening?
All's well. What's on your mind?
It's the first time calling in. I just heard about your show. I don't know how to listen live right yet, but if you could let me know, that would be cool.
Well, if you're in North Carolina in the Asheville area, we are on Jonny Ray?
570 WWNC on this night of the week. I don't think any others.
But you can always go to freetalklive.com. So what's on your mind, Jake?
Okay. I have a couple of questions that I can't answer, and it may be ammo for the flat earth movement or whatever, but I have no idea.
Yep.
You ever had your tires balanced?
Yes.
I'm sure you have. You know the little weight they put on the side?
Yes.
To balance your tires so it doesn't wobble?
Yep.
Okay.
Now they put it on the inside, but yeah, they used to just sit them on the outside of the rim.
Yeah, inside, outside. It's just a balance, So if we move that little weight around, on that tire in a different place, there would be one heck of a wobble, wouldn't there?
I guess it would be.
Okay.
Honestly,
So
I don't know. I've had very little experience balancing tires, but I'll take your word for it.
My understanding is that, based on the weight combined on tires. So they don't put the little weight on all 4 tires. If there's a wobble on one, they put a weight on one tire, and then that equals out with all of the tires.
But
so
does it matter where the weight goes on the rim?
No,
Yes,
because the
it
tire
does.
spins
Yes,
in
it
a
does.
circle.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's just a problem with if a wheel it gets out of balance, then that's one wheel that gets out of balance. Then you address it that
Hold on
wheel.
just a sec. Hold just a second, Jake. Okay, are we ready? Jake, go ahead.
Okay. I suggest you watch a mechanic do it and ask him what he's doing.
All right.
Because, so if you do put a little weight in a different place, or you put a different amount of weight, here's another question. The different amount of weight.
Uh-huh.
The difference that you're moving around on that tire is going to cause it to wobble.
Yeah.
Now, and if you take it away completely, it's going to wobble.
Okay.
So the thing is, do you know how much weight we're moving around on this earth? I mean, every day.
The earth does
70% of
wobble.
Oceans are, well, here's my thing.
Yep.
If you've ever seen a tire wobble, we're talking about the earth. We're talking about 70% of the weight is moving every day. It's shifting.
Yeah, but it's really lightweight.
Now, this experiment is way better than any.
So are you
gyro
saying that the Earth is a tire?
No. He's
No,
saying that it's
I'm
spinning.
not saying that. I'm telling you, if it is in fact spinning, and it's going in a
So
course.
you think the Earth doesn't spin?
Listen, this is
No,
this
he's
is
not saying
easy
that.
time. This is so easy. This is so easy. It's so easy that a man who changes your tire every day, he knows this.
But
okay?
the earth does wobble, Jake.
Also, the Earth is a sphere that's
Well,
filled with
if
liquid.
He's saying that the Earth doesn't wobble. He's saying the Earth doesn't spin.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm saying it does spin. Hold on just a second, Jake. You're not going anywhere. Hold on. But the Earth does wobble. There's the North Pole, and then there's this little spot that moves around that's called true north.
Yes.
So there's a difference. There's where the Earth wobbles. Hold the line, Jake.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, May 4th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.47 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,314 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $40, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,628. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. military is more deeply involved in the Saudi war in Yemen than officials ever admitted. In fact, new evidence suggests the Pentagon lied to Congress during the March debate about U.S. involvement, presenting the U.S. role at present being limited to targeting and mid-air refueling of Saudi warplanes. The New York Times is reporting there are actually a small number of U.S. special forces on the ground at the Saudi border with Yemen. Those troops have not only been on the ground since late 2017, but are there on a mission to help the Saudi military fight Yemen's Shiite Houthi movement. No public debate ever took place with respect to this deployment. Indeed, the Pentagon appears to have gone to great lengths not to tell the American public or Congress about the Green Berets they sent to the border. The Green Berets are intended to help the Saudis locate and destroy Houthi missiles and attack Houthi missile launch sites inside Yemen. This has been going on despite the Trump administration telling Congress that America's involvement in Yemen was purely non-combat, and again despite the Pentagon repeatedly saying that America's sole involvement in Yemen was logistical and support for the air war. Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia said the Pentagon was deliberately blurring the lines between train and equip missions and combat. It is unclear from the report from the New York Times if the U.S. troops crossed into Yemen, but given that their mission was to target Houthi sites, it seems almost certain that they have. CENTCOM Commander General Joseph Votel, during the March debate, did say he had authorization to help the Saudis defend their border. At that time, however, he told the Senate that this was being done purely through intelligence sharing and military advice. Clearly, it also involved physical U.S. troops on the border. It remains to be seen what the consequences of the Pentagon's deception will be domestically. At the very least, it seems like this could provide a new pretext for a vote on ending U.S. involvement in the Yemen war, as Congress lacked all the information they needed to have an informed vote in March. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Twitter encouraged all of its users to change their passwords on Thursday after discovering a bug that caused passwords to be stored without proper encryption. The social media platform discovered a bug that caused user passwords to be stored in an internal log without going through a process known as hashing, in which password characters are replaced with a random set of numbers and letters. Twitter's chief technology officer wrote in a blog post, "Due to a bug, passwords were written to an internal log before completing the hashing process. We found this error ourselves, removed the passwords, and are implementing plans to prevent this bug from happening again." The CTO said the bug had been fixed and an investigation showed there was no indication of breach or misuse by anyone. He still encouraged users to change their passwords out of an abundance of caution, and Twitter pushed a pop-up window to users explaining the bug and including a link to the settings page. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports the Republican-controlled Oklahoma legislature approved an adoption measure on Thursday that critics say discriminates against same-sex couples, non-Christians, and single parents. The bill would allow faith-based adoption agencies, including those that receive public funding, to turn away would-be parents on the basis of their marital status or religion and religious beliefs. Supporters of the bill said the legislation would open the door for more child placement partnerships. The State House of Representatives approved the bill by a vote of 56 to 21 without discussion or debate, despite vocal objections by the Democratic caucus. Earlier in the day, the Senate passed the bill by a vote of 33 to 7. Opponents of the bill could mount a legal challenge. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A new Gallup poll found that the GOP has an overwhelming advantage among young people who look like old men. The poll shows Republicans hold a solid lead among the coveted elderly youth demographic, including 18 to 24-year-olds who wear suspenders and bow ties to class every day. I'm joined by Republican strategist Rob Powell. These are pretty encouraging numbers for the GOP, aren't they?
Of course, it's very encouraging. Millennials who look like they're permanently dressed for boat trips are a rapidly growing segment of the population.
And according to the survey, the prematurely aged are also very politically active.
Absolutely. Only about 20% of young people vote overall, but there's almost 100% turnout among youth that dress like a dad from a 1950s sitcom.
Now, what about the criticism that the GOP only appeals to white men?
Not true. We also have a lot of support among sorority girls that wear pantsuits and pearls, paunchy Chinese college students, and we're making inroads among African American ham radio enthusiasts.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live here in this final hour of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray
and Darryl.
And in the last segment of the final hour of the 8 o'clock hour, we had Jake call in, and I wanted to make sure Jake said that he has a few things. In the first instance, he called in and sort of asking questions about balancing tires and if the the globe, wobbles like an unbalanced tire would wobble. And of course, we showed that there's a difference between the North Pole and true north. So, what's your next question, Jake?
It wasn't actually, the first one wasn't actually a question.
Okay.
If I can just say this, if I can just make this statement to you.
Go right ahead.
Make it simple. I'll try to make it simple. If you took a picture frame outside at nighttime,
picture
and you
frame
were holding it up and you were looking at the stars.
Yep. And there's no picture in it, right?
No, there's no picture in it.
Okay, it's just a
picture
frame.
Just
Okay.
the outside edges you're holding, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're looking at the stars. Now, you're talking about more than just 70% of the ocean shifting back and forth the weight.
Okay.
You're talking about the dam in China. You're talking about all kinds of movement and weight being.
What's that got to do with the frame? Hold on, I'm lost.
This is what will happen.
Okay.
If you have that much weight being displaced on an object that is spinning in a perfect and on a track going in a how can I say the word? It's going in
an
a circuit,
orbit.
like an elliptical orbit. Yeah, if it's going in a circuit, it has a circuit that it's going in, a certain speed that it's miraculously keeping up with. If that happens, you would have such a wobble that picture frame you're looking through, those stars would be jumping in and out of that picture frame. That's what I'm telling you. That's easy. That's easy.
But the water doesn't. The water's traveling the same speed as the globe, so it should stay flat.
No. Where did you get that information?
Well, I can tell you this: if I have a glass of water, hold on, Jake. If I have a glass of water and I travel in my car, the water isn't shoved up against one side. It's flat.
Turn it upside down. What happens?
Well,
Turn
okay.
it sideways.
Look,
What happens when you
I'm
turn
not
it
a
sideways?
globe circling a star, so gravity
water
works
level?
differently on me.
Is water always level?
Oh, is this where we're going? Let me ask you this. Hold on, I got a better question for you. Is Mars? Wait, I got a question. I answered your question, Jake. I did. Answer my question.
You didn't answer my question. at
Which?
all. I asked for
How
a
many
technical
of your
statement.
questions do I have to answer for you to answer one of my stinking
Just
questions,
one.
Jake?
Just one.
Flat
I
Earthers don't
answered
answer
your question.
our questions.
The world does wobble.
We on this show are globalist because we believe that the Earth is a globe. Jake, thank you for the call.
Oh, come on. He didn't answer my question.
He's not going to answer the question,
Jake,
Mark.
you can stay if you answer my question. You gonna answer my question?
I'll take. Listen.
No,
I'll answer your question if
answer.
you answer one of mine.
Yeah, I'll
We've
answer.
answered
after
all
you,
of your questions,
After you
Jake.
answer my question, and I have.
You haven't answered one.
I am so sick of
We've
you.
answered all of them. Flat Earthers don't answer questions that are asked of them.
Okay, here's the question.
I've had enough of them on the show to realize they don't answer questions.
He asked me, "Do you know what it's like to put a weight on a tire?" That was a question. I answered yes. So that was the start of a series of questions that I answered for the gentleman.
Yes.
But to go on, if the globe is flat, if we have a flat Earth,
yes,
then one would necessarily believe that we have a flat moon. Right?
See, the moon is a hologram, according to some of them.
And you can only see one side of it, which is true.
Yes.
Then you would need a flat Venus and a flat Mars. Both of those are observable as spinning. Like you can buy yourself a telescope and see Venus and Mars spin.
Yes.
So it would be odd that this really strange shape of a pizza pie flying around a globe, whatever. I don't even know. I mean, it's like there's a whole lot of magic going on with a flat Earth, whereas a sphere is an extraordinarily simple and it's a simple and efficient shape for a heavenly body that is in motion.
Right. The
in
thing
a frictionless area.
Doesn't make any sense to me that no flat earther has ever explained, and they never will be able to, is a lunar eclipse.
Yeah,
lunar eclipse is where the Earth is between the sun and the moon.
Yep.
They can explain in these diagrams how a solar eclipse happens. I don't believe it, but they've come up with graphs explaining that one, but they can't explain lunar eclipse.
I see.
And the reason they can't explain it is because there is no way that the Earth is flat and you can explain that thing. They also can't figure out time zones and that it's, daylight in China while it's nighttime in the United States for most of the day.
My favorite Libertarian Party member ever, Starchild. Starchild, what's on your mind?
Oh, hey, thank you for the nice intro. I wanted to talk about the freedom to travel subject that you guys were talking about earlier in the show.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I used to think, when I first got introduced to libertarian ideas and so forth, I eventually adopted the hardcore sort of traditional libertarian position that all land should be privately owned. And I no longer necessarily believe that anymore. I think that it should be out of the hands of the kind of government control that exists now. But I think that there should be public areas, what I like to call the commons, traditionally, called the commons, the areas that aren't privately owned. And I think the use of the commons should basically be on a first-come, first-served kind of basis. I don't think the entity that's controlling the commons, whether that be government or a private entity, should be able to restrict your ability to move about the commons freely. Because if you had all land privately owned, or you allow the owners of the commons, in this case usually governments, to restrict that usage and restrict people's rights, well then, the kind of rights that are in the Bill of Rights become essentially moot or meaningless because any private property owner can restrict them. If you don't have a place where people can freely exercise the right to freedom of religion, right to self-defense, free speech, etc., and right to travel is kind of in that same category of things because it doesn't inherently violate anybody else's rights. Like just moving around isn't initiating force or fraud against anybody.
Yeah, let me see if I can put that in my own words too. Yeah, let me put that in my own words. So the Bill of Rights has a list of enumerated rights, but it doesn't enumerate all of them.
Correct.
Some of those are the right to peaceably assemble, the right to a particular religion,
freedom of the press, freedom of speech,
a right to keep and bear arms, and without the commons, some area that the government or the commons, whatever we might call that, without some commonly held area, obviously a person can't come on my property and begin practicing their religion because they're trespassing. So their freedom to religion isn't particularly, it's moot, as you said previously, unless they're on their own land. Or if there's a commons upon which they could then express their religious views or keep and bear arms if they wish.
Do they give up their right to life by coming onto your property even with an invitation?
That's not mentioned in the Bill of Rights, though.
Right, but as you said, they didn't enumerate all of the rights.
Right, okay, so
Declaration of Independence says that we have certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
I think that...
So do you get to place landmines sporadically throughout your property and then open it up as a comment and say, children, come play lawn darts in my yard.
Well, that'd be fraud.
Of course you can.
That would be fraud.
Which is okay.
If you
fraud is not a crime in my definition of crime.
just eliminating children because I hate them. No, it's
just society will tend to not do that because people don't like to kill their neighbors for the most part.
And
so you don't need to have laws against landmining your property. You just need to respect people's property, and things will generally turn out fine.
Please go ahead, Starchild. Oh, hold on, Starchild. I'm going to hold you over I'm going to hold you over here. Just 1 second.
Okay.
The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. I think this is an interesting point that Starchild's brought up. I don't have a canned, ready rebuttal to it. This isn't a question that's been asked on Free Talk Live before. 855-450-3733. Prepare your rebuttals, libertarians.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
We're back on Free Talk Live, and the telephone number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Want to tell you about, we've got Star Child on the line here, and we're having one of those libertarian debates as to, what are rights, how do they function, those kind of things. And I always think they're very, very interesting arguments. But these are the sort of things that people who frequent liberty.menu would be interested too. So if you're a libertarian and you're interested in doing business with and hanging out with and going to events with other libertarians, liberty.menu is a tool for our community. At its core, it's a directory for events, businesses, and digital content. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social network aspect where you can connect and share with others. It's exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force. I believe, Darryl, there's kind of a little pledge when you sign up that you reject the initiation of force or something?
It's somewhere in there. Yep. Most of the info in the live read there was taken from the About page of liberty.menu.
Oh, you wrote this? I thought I wrote it. Oh,
no.
Who knows?
It's actually readable.
Go to hell. It's liberty.menu. Use code FTL and get a free special badge. It's liberty.menu. If you type in Darryl is a honky, you'll get another badge. Liberty.menu. Let's bring back Star Child. So, Star Child, you brought up an interesting idea, which I had never really entertained, which is that many of the rights, especially the rights enumerated in the Bill of Rights, are moot and irrelevant without a commons, an area that is, well, in today's society, owned and operated by the government, but there have been commons in the past.
The place, and I forget what the name of it was, the Occupy Wall Street started. That was a privately owned park that the guy has opened up for public use.
Yeah, that's true.
So there can be a privately owned common.
Yeah. Do you have anything to expound upon that, Star Child?
Sure. Yeah. The key with the commons, I think, as Darryl was just alluding to, isn't that it needs to be controlled by a government. It's just it needs to be an area where the ability of the property owner to limit the rights of those who use the space is severely restricted. It's a place where you can go and basically freely exercise all your sort of traditional Bill of Rights type rights without interference from the property owner. And I think it's useful for libertarians to ask sometimes when considering, how important is it, the freedom of travel weighed against, for example, the sanctity of private property. Think about it in practical terms, which is going to do more to advance overall human freedom. And seeing in that light, because sometimes I think getting, when we start focusing on philosophical gray areas and so forth, which isn't really just a philosophical debate, it's actually a very practical debate because it has very clear applications in the world today, people being denied the right of freedom to travel, especially between national government jurisdictions. It'd be good for us to ask, I think, what is the practical outcome in terms of, is it moving the cause of freedom forward or not to grant a particular right or sanction a particular law or whatever it is. And I think there's much more to be gained in terms of human freedom, maximizing that and minimizing interference with human freedom by allowing freedom to travel to be recognized as a right than by restricting it.
Okay, so I'm game. In the case of the United States, basically you have mostly the right to travel as long as you pay their little fees and you get their little license, right? And it's not that complicated. Pretty much all of us have done it.
Well, there are some people, and there are other ways of traveling other than driving on a road. So buying an airline ticket, taking a bus, you're taking a train later this week. There would be some people that would argue, well, you bought a ticket, so therefore that means you've surrendered all of your rights, and DHS or any other government agency can just come on and pat you down and do anal probes because you bought a ticket, and somewhere in the fine print is we allow government to do whatever.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, the worst part of flying on an airline is that brief stop in East Germany before you get on the plane. It really stinks.
And Greyhound has come under fire recently for allowing Border Patrol onto all of their buses that are anywhere within 100 miles of a border.
But I would ask, so my question to Starchild is this. If we're going to have roads, and those roads apparently are going to be claimed by the government, should we not have a system for denying some people the right or the ability, I'm going to use it, the ability, the privilege to be on those roads? Some people apparently are just, I've seen them out there. They're bad drivers. They're irresponsible. In some cases, they appear to be, passing out at the wheel. There's just a segment of the population. It's a pretty small percentage, but they probably shouldn't be on the road. Go ahead, Starchild.
I would base it on actual harm. I mean, first of all, stepping back just a moment, a right, as I've heard you guys say plenty of times on the show, is basically unconditional. As soon as you put conditions, say, well, it can be limited under, circumstance X, Y, and Z, it's not being acknowledged as a right. The only way that rights can legitimately be limited is when they interfere with someone else's rights. Like the famous "my right to swing my fist stops where your nose begins," or arguably stops some distance away from your person, in your personal space. But the government hasn't legitimately homesteaded these areas it calls the commons. I mean, under traditional libertarian sort of property ownership law, kind of the first person to claim, a piece of land can or to discover it, to sort of occupy it, can claim ownership over it. But governments traditionally haven't done that with the vast swaths of land they claim. And of course, the boundary's never entirely clear. Like, can one person, newly discovering a continent, claim the entire continent, or how many acres can they claim? They have to actually fence it off or something. I mean, there's clear gray area there, but I don't think by any stretch of the imagination, governments can be seen as actually having
I'm going to give round one and round two to Starchild. Starchild, go ahead and tell me your most recent project, because you're always working on something.
Well, right now, we're working on Prop E in San Francisco. It's one of the two sort of things I'm working on.
Proposition B? What's that?
Measure, yes. It would ban the sale of flavored tobacco products in the city, including
like clove cigarettes?
Vaping products. Clove, I believe so, yes. That hasn't been specifically mentioned as a term, but menthol cigarettes, which...
well, that's just an attack on black people there.
Yes, well, that's one of the aspects of what we're talking about here is that it's kind of discriminatory. It's going against the products that poor people tend to use. It's not outlawing expensive cigars, for example, but it is outlawing menthol cigarettes that are commonly preferred by African Americans. It's outlawing hookah and shisha. That are traditionally used by people of Middle Eastern origin. It's also outlawing vaping products, which ironically are used by a lot of people as a way to quit smoking.
Is there a website where people could visit?
Let me see, what is it? Let'sBeRealSF.com.
Let'sBeRealSF.com.
Let'sBeRealSF.com. Yeah, they switched the campaign slogan. I think there's new. I should be able to remember that site right now. But if you do a web search for the Prohibition Proposition or Proposition E, San Francisco, you should be able to find it.
Thanks for the call.
E as an echo.
For that edge during those intimate moments, we see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You are free to call in and talk live about whatever you wish here on this live edition. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. I am proud that Free Talk Live is behind Zencash. So Bitcoin was great technology when it came out in 2009, and blockchain tech is being adopted all over the world in industries. But when it comes to currency transactions, you don't always want your currency transactions to be on public display for everyone to see forever and ever, like the IRS, to be able to come back 10 years later and say, what happened here? Well, that's what makes Zencash so great. It has privacy options for transactions and messaging using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash also has more than 11,000 secure nodes, making it one of the most secure networks of any cryptocurrency. And Zencash is made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded right into the white paper. Zencash is better tech than their competition. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. By the way, it's got more secure nodes than Bitcoin Core. Zencash.com. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico, I presume. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
And that previous caller, that dude stole my domain name.
What was that? Something SF?
Let's be real AF.com.
No, SF. Go ahead.
Political racketeering. So I had an interesting phone conversation with the guy that wants to be the next attorney general for the state of New Mexico, a guy named Michael Hendricks. And Michael, if you're listening, hello.
So he's running for the office?
He's running for attorney general against the Democrat dude.
It's the last time you'll get him on the phone. Go ahead.
If he wins, right? So he goes on the radio stations are busy nonstop with these political people because it's political season coming up here, and especially the radio station that carries your program, Kiva, is not the one I'm talking about. Eddie allows my phone calls. His competitor, the KKOB radio station,
the radio station which will not be named.
The radio station, which will not be named, what they do is multiple times a week, year round, and double that basically in election season. They have people that are running for office and people that are already in office constantly on their radio program. And for some reason, that radio station that will not be named does not like me on their radio station to the point where they literally, and I've verified this, I got concrete evidence of it.
They've got the no Dave policy.
It's me. I asked how many people were on their list. They said about 20. They maintain a blacklist, a banned list of people that are barred from their radio station. Humorously, anyway, or tellingly, is probably a better word. Tellingly, only 2 of about 7 of their radio house abide the order from their direct boss, the station manager, and they continue to take my calls in spite of that order. But there are 2 programs that block me, and the two biggest name programs, and
that's
obviously
what it tends to be.
Yeah.
So what's that got to do with the attorney general?
This dude was on the radio station the other day, and I called in to. To assert my right. Every time they have somebody on, I call in and let them block me, force them to block me. And so I call in and go through my little spiel with this call screener, and they block me, and I maintain that evidence. And then
so they block the phone number, or they just don't let you on?
No, they won't let me on by name, by voice, by phone number. They have caller ID. They know my voice, etc. Anyway, and I don't hide my identity. I'm not hiding my identity. Anyway. So they block me from asking a question. They solicit callers. Anybody call in with questions, and it's easy to get in. And they don't do a Rush Limbaugh thing. They don't screen for the best calls because they don't have enough calls to screen that way. They basically take them in order, and so they block me. And the second that the program ends, I call the Michael Hendricks, the candidate for Attorney General of New Mexico. I call him on his cell phone immediately after he gets off air. And I mean, he's literally walking out of the building and to his car and driving and all that. And I talked to him for 40 minutes. And one of the things that I did that I made sure to cover. Oh, this guy's a lawyer, obviously. So I made sure to go over. Yeah, I made sure to go over the fact that I'm aware, and I asked him if he was aware that the special agent in charge of New Mexico a few years back stated publicly that, in his opinion, that New Mexico was the most corrupt state in the nation, and he was very acquainted with that statement. And then I also asked him, why do you go on the radio? And he started to go down kind of wrong track. And I stopped him and I said, no, that's not why you go. The reason you go on the radio, and he ended up agreeing with me, the reason that you're going on the radio is to get elected. He started to say that he was going on there to give information to people. Sure. And no, you're trying to get elected. Okay. And then I said, can you, if you did not go on the media in the state of New Mexico. And then I narrowed it. I said, forget the media. If you did not go on radio in the state of New Mexico, do you think you could get elected to Attorney General? And he conceded, he's a lawyer. He made an admission. No, he could not get elected without being on the radio. So therefore, it is indispensable. He is not getting elected if he can't go on the radio. And then I informed him of the blacklist that they maintain and such like that, and asked him basically, so what do you think of the fact that you can't get in office without going on the radio? And I also further said, he didn't disagree with me. I further stated that I'm going to tell you, Michael, you can't get elected if you don't go on this radio station. And he did not disagree with me. And yet this radio station that you can't get elected without is blocking the political speech of voices like mine that they don't like.
It's interesting.
I might irritate you, but I'm still a citizen. And if you're not screening for the best calls, then why are you maintaining a blacklist? And I went into the various reasons that they might claim to maintain a blacklist, and I laid out my legal argument against whatever reason, any of the different reasons that they could give putting me on a blacklist.
I can tell you Dave. I find I find myself recoiling at the notion that I would have to put somebody on the air. There are people that have been blocked on Free Talk Live. I know that Dave from Poughkeepsie, for repeating himself sort of, in a sort of a mentally challenged loop, and James from Arizona, Ralph from New Jersey. There's a few guys that have been banned from being on the air, not because of their good questions to politicians, mind you, but right. So from that standpoint, I'm like, oh, I decide who goes on the air. I'm a decider.
Yeah, right.
But at the other side, I see the point. Like, yeah, you're right. A local politician isn't going to get elected unless they do. They make the rounds to the local media and, meet and greet and do all that stuff. And a radio station certainly could be powerful enough that it would be indispensable. So I can see how you're making your sort of public airwaves argument from that standpoint. I don't believe that the airwaves are public. But
even when politicians wind up doing, town hall sort of things, they generally... in most cases, will have planted questions and only take those questions.
It's often the case.
And a lot of times when politicians appear on local radio, they will only, whoever the producer of the local show is, will only allow these softball questions. They won't necessarily allow somebody to ask a difficult question. Do I think that's good? No, because they should, be answering difficult questions. But I don't think it's incumbent upon anybody else to give you a platform to ask the question.
I think it's a good point.
But my point, the main point was that he admitted he cannot get elected without going on the radio station. And the radio station does not discriminate between callers except for the ones whose voices they want to silence. They do not otherwise rank callers as one's better than the other. And so therefore the radio station illegally controlled.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
It's been said,
Any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's the final segment of Free Talk Live. This evening, 21 short hours from now, we'll be back on the air. And that's true every day of the year. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas or Thanksgiving or... I mean, how many Thanksgivings, Darryl, have we had our Thanksgiving dinner and then come in here and done a radio program?
All of them since I've lived in New Hampshire.
Have you always done a Thanksgiving Day show?
If I didn't do the show, I know that you ate dinner and then came in here and did the show.
That much is true, yeah.
Somebody gobbled on some dry turkey.
Yep.
And then came in here and did a show.
Oh, I'm sorry that you were gobbling on dry turkey. My wife doesn't make dry turkey. But
everybody that's ever said, "Oh, this is the most moist turkey ever," it's been dry, and that says a lot when that statement comes from somebody who lives largely off of jerky.
I see. Well, there you go.
When the turkey jerky that I eat has more juice than a turkey that somebody pulls out of an oven, that says something about how dry turkey is.
Probably, well, you're ending up with white meat, first off, and it's not my preference. So, I'm not here to defend white meat because I don't like it. But anyway, I am here to defend the AMP program, and there is no radio program like Free Talk Live. There's not one that's going to take the full-on libertarian, view on a particular issue. You're not going to hear libertarian luminaries like Starchild calling in on other shows to discuss the finer points of rights theory. Free Talk Live is the only forum where we let people call in, whether they're libertarian luminaries or just your regular Joe. Call in and talk about the issues of the day from the standpoint of the ideas of liberty, if that's valuable to you. If it's not valuable to you, you're probably not a libertarian, and I'm not talking to you. But if it's valuable to you, $5 a month will join you up to the AMP program. You can support us, and we'll toss you a few perks in the process. I'm not even going to outline the perks because that's not the purpose of the program. Right. It's not to get you perks. The purpose of the program is to arm the libertarian street preachers to go out and spread the ideas of liberty. We can't both be the street preachers and be the support system for the street preachers at the same time. So you can either be the street preacher or you can be the support system. I'm asking for your support because the chances are you're not spreading the ideas of liberty as far and as wide as we are. So $5 a month, please. amp.freetalklive.com.
So I'm fairly certain everybody by now has heard the name Alfie Evens. If you are not familiar with Alfie, he would have turned 2 next month had it not been for the British government killing him. And no, I'm not being hyperbolic.
Like you're being
there.
a little hyperbolic there, Darryl.
So Alfie, I forget what medical problem he had that was diagnosed when he was like 6 or 9 months old, and he was in a hospital, was on a breathing apparatus and some other machines for a while, and then a British judge determined, no, we're just going to wind up removing all of these machines from Alfie, and if he lives, he lives. And Alfie was living without the breathing apparatus and the other machines, and then the judge decreed that the doctors could no longer provide food to Alfie.
I wonder if that'll kill you.
The family, because, I forget what the diagnosis was, but the family had found a doctor in Italy that was going to do some experimental treatments. The British courts ruled that Alfie was not allowed to leave the hospital.
They did something similar to that about a year ago to a kid who was going to come to the United States for treatment, and that treatment had been paid for. There'd already been the fundraising. The British government didn't have to pay for it, and that's usually the argument here is that, well, it's a socialist program. Everybody's got to pay for it. We don't want to pay for all this extra stuff.
Right. The Italian government wound up giving Alfie citizenship, thinking Alfie is now an Italian citizen because we have granted him citizenship. We, the Italian government, can make a plea to the British government to allow one of our citizens to come to this country. The British government rejected that and said, no, Alfie is British. So now Italian prosecutors are considering opening a case against the hospital that Alfie was being held in.
I think there should be cases against everybody. Somebody ought to pay for this. This is outright murder.
The article here from The Sun, again, after mentioning that he would have been 2 and that the prosecutors in Italy are considering opening the case. Desperate parents Tom and Kate had wanted him moved to a hospital in Rome for treatment and had the backing of the Pope and senior Italian politicians. The possibility of a criminal investigation will cause a diplomatic nightmare between Britain and Italy. Investigators could ask to question doctors and judicial officials involved in the case, but any request would have to go through the Crown Prosecution Services. A source at the prosecutor's office in Rome.
And now that it's not EU, it's probably even more complicated, right? Now that Britain's no longer EU?
Well, they're still working out that process of no longer being EU. Yeah. Nigel Farage was actually in the EU a couple days ago talking about how Belgium is a fictional creation.
The country of Belgium is fictional?
Yes.
Well, I guess they're all fictional.
Well, that was my response when I shared the thing on Twitter. But what he was saying is that because Belgium is basically an amalgamation of 2 distinct ethnic
Flanders
groups
and whatever, yeah.
The
Flemish,
Flemish. No, the Flemish are is Flanders, and then the other is like Wallets something. Yeah. So you've got these 2 distinct groups that are in one country.
Yeah.
And
Whoop-de-doo.
he was then saying
That's not done anywhere else in the world.
that the European Union is also a fictional creation, and he's just trying to leave a fictional creation.
It's a federation. Federations are as fictional as any other federation.
Continuing on here, a source at the prosecutor's office in Rome, which handles overseas probes, said Alfie Evans was an Italian citizen, and he died in a foreign country. As a consequence, his death is to be investigated in the eyes of the law as a potential crime that has been committed by the hospital in Liverpool and needs to be examined. The case will be discussed at the highest level, and a decision will be made in the next few weeks. Technically, the charge could be murder, as the machines keeping him alive were switched off. Tom and Kate's
I think
Italian...
it's a good argument. I mean, it's one thing to take somebody off a breathing apparati or whatever. It's another thing entirely to stop feeding them.
Yes.
And I think that's what they did with Terry Schiavo, too, but,
Right, and that was... I'm not going to say a completely different situation, but there was a situation there to where the husband wanted one thing, her family wanted something else. Parents wanted something else. I don't think there was what's commonly referred to as a living will. And the husband, some people suspect he only wanted to kill Terry so that he could wind up remarrying and didn't have to go through a divorce and get some kind of something.
So this brought up a question for me because the Italian government obviously now has a legal claim on Alfie. Yes, this is going to be a nightmare for the British government. Hopefully it puts them in a situation where they don't do this again. This is 2 times in like 2 years.
Right.
But I know that some kind of charges were brought against George Bush by some country. I think it might have been Nigeria or something, but they were an Interpol subscribing Interpol.
I know there was a tribunal in Malaysia that also wound up doing something, but I don't think there's ever going to be any kind of like international criminal court thing.
I believe my understanding is that Interpol would be required to go after George Bush if he went into an Interpol country. And my question to you is this, Darryl. You would know better than anybody I know. Has George Bush been to an Interpol country since he left the United States government, to stop being the president of the United States?
I don't pay attention to his travel itinerary, so I don't know.
The best I can tell, he just stays in Texas and paints his feet.
You know more about what he does than I do.
There you go. And by paints his feet, I don't mean he paints his feet. He paints pictures of his feet and a few other things.
In either case, it's rather strange. Like when you said paints his feet, I'm just thinking of him there with toenail polish, giving himself a pedicure.
I knew that it was one of those situations where an emphasis really mattered in the sentence, and I didn't quite emphasize in the right location. But I mean, a rich man's got to have something to do. If he's not running around giving speeches, he's got to have things to do, and he's not a Bitcoin trader, so what
but
else
he is the decider.
Not anymore. Now I'm the decider, and I decide it's time for you to listen to some other show coming up next. And you can check us out at freetalklive.com.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Yep, we're providing great programming for you at LRN.FM. That's in Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM. It's been Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Darryl.
Free Talk Live.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm. The latest edition of Lions of Liberty is next on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.fm. Get more at lionsofliberty.com.
Guess what, Lions? For as little as $5 a month, you can get access to exclusive bonus audio content and help this program grow by joining the Lions of Liberty Pride. To learn more, head over to lionsofliberty.com/support. That's a curious thing to me. How did Bernie Sanders make $1 million last year?
By writing a book about how it's wrong to make $1 million.
Genius.
Welcome to the Lions of Liberty podcast. Here's your host, your guide, your shining beacon of liberty, Mark Claire.
All right, Liberty kitty cats, welcome on back to not only another edition of your favorite Liberty podcast, Lions of Liberty, the 304th edition to be exact, which of course means you can find today's show notes featuring links to all sorts of things we discuss over at lionsofliberty.com/304. But it's also another edition of America's fastest growing libertarian drinking talk show. That's right, it's time for another edition of Libertarians in Living Rooms Drinking Liquor.
Let me be your whiskey shot to quickly ease your pain. My loving arms beating
Now, before you grab your own adult beverage and kick up your feet and get ready to have a little Liberty chat with us, I want you to go ahead and check out today's sponsors, Martin Armory. Now, Martin Armory was started by this guy, Chris Martin, a libertarian. That's right, a fellow libertarian whose businesses you can support, who really wanted to do something he was passionate about. He was successful in the business world, but he wasn't doing something that he really had a passion behind. And of course, he was passionate about gun ownership, so he decided to start martinarmory.com, where he focuses on the most 25 popular guns on the market at any given time to ensure you that he can get you the best prices possible. And right now, for Lions of Liberty listeners, you can get free shipping. So not only are you getting amazing prices off the bat, they're going to ship them to you for free when you use the discount code LIONS. That's martinarmory.com. Use that discount code LIONS for free shipping. And now that the business is out of the way, let's bring in today's guest in the Liberty Living Room. All right, first up, he is the host of Electric Liberty Land here every single Wednesday on the Lions of Liberty podcast. He is Mr. Brian McWilliams. Brian, are you ready to roar?
Always ready to roar for liberty.
You know who else told me that once? You don't know, do you?
I don't know. Rip Torn? That's what I thought I sounded like when I said that.
Ron Paul. That's the exact answer he gave me when he was on the show.
Oh, yeah, good old Ron.
He said he's always ready to roar for liberty. So that was great to hear. Brian, what are you drinking over there? And by over there, I mean literally down the street. You live about a block away.
Yeah, I'm drinking some delicious Costco premium small batch bourbon because I live the high life over here.
Costco brand. I didn't know they were in their own doing their own brewing now.
Well, Kirkland, it's technically Kirkland's signature brand, but you know what? It's 7-year-old, so they say, bourbon from Tennessee and not Rand Paul country, unfortunately, in Kentucky. But it's actually pretty good. I gotta say, it's not bad at all, and it's like $30 for big old liter of 7-year-old.
Maybe Kirkland Booze will sponsor us by the end of the show. Next up, he is the man. He is the man responsible for sending me down the path of liberty many years ago by handing me a book by Harry Brown. He resides in Leesburg, Virginia. We do not know or if he actually works for the CIA or not, but we do suspect he does. He is Howie Snowden. Howie, are you ready to roar?
Hell yeah, Mark. Let's do it.
How did I know you would be? And what are you drinking over there in Virginia?
You know, all week I was like, we got Libertarians living room drinking liquor coming up. I should go out and get some Blanton's bourbon or something, but I didn't. I've been too busy. So I've always got some